Welcome back to That Handicapping Show. I'm Claire Novak, and I'm here at Keeneland, joined by Ellis Starr of Equibase and Tom Lamara, and we are here to give you a little preview of the Breeders' Cup Classic because a lot of those horses are getting on the grounds, and it is going to be an exciting showdown, not only between American Pharoah and Beholder, but a bunch of other really talented horses who are in there. Now, Ellis, earlier we were talking about a couple of the contenders in here, and American Pharoah is a 3-year-old, and the question is he good enough to do what Curlin did in the Classic and beat older horses? In his final career start, he'll be making his first start against his elders.
Yeah, he's got something to prove. I mean, he's certainly proven everything against his own division. He's shown the ability to come from off the pace, and I think he's going to run well, but it is a test now when you start to face older horses in the fall.
And Tom, what do you think as far as not only American Pharoah, but Frosted, Keen Ice, 3-year-olds coming in here trying to take on the older horses?
Well, I think the Triple Crown winner is still the horse to beat. You know, his race in the Travers, I thought, was really, really strong, despite the fact that he lost to Keen Ice, who is also in this race. You know, he has had some downtime. Finally, he had some downtime and is reportedly training well. You know, so he has to ship again. He shipped a lot this year, but I think on raw talent, yeah, I think he's a very, very a very tough horse to beat in the race. One horse that I'm going to be looking at is Tonalist. You know, he hasn't won much this year, but I don't think that's a matter of a lack of ability. I think it's just the way the race is played out. I think if he's on his game and he repeats the race that he ran in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, I think he's got a really good shot. So
right now, Tonalist is a 2-time Jockey Club Gold Cup winner, and he is the only horse of the top 6 from last year's Breeders' Cup Classic to come back in this year's Classic, and Frank Angst had a really interesting story on bloodhorse.com about that. But as far as, you know, Tonalist, now he's an older horse, so he has that experience. Things may not have gone his way, but what do you think about his chances?
Well, Tonalist, as Tom pointed out, his Jockey Club Gold Cup was a great race, but he lost 3 straight before that as the favorite. So you just don't know which Tonalist is going to show up today.
Right, exactly. And going back to Keen Ice, my boy Keen Ice, who I really hate when people say, oh, he just won a maiden race and the only reason he won the Travers was because Frosted set it up for him and blah, blah, blah. Okay, this is a horse who was steadily improving after the Derby with a great Belmont Stakes run. He was 3rd, with a great Haskell run when he was 2nd, and then beat American Pharoah in the Travers. I really don't understand how you can diss him, and he's been training lights out. He's going to be like such my favorite horse to get really good odds on.
But there's an issue, of course, it has to do with the pace. We have 10 horses pre-entered. We don't know who's going to run for sure. But even with Beholder and American Pharoah kind of on the lead and pressing the pace, Keen Ice and another horse, Honor Code, both have the style to come from very far back, and they really need the pace to go their way. Whether it's fast or slow, they need some contested pace, and that could be a problem.
And that is a big question for Honor Code, who has run some inconsistent races this year. He's either really brilliant or he's completely off his game. Kind of a similar question with Tonalist, like which one is going to show up?
Well, he is a standout on looks. He really is. And when he fires really well. So, you know, we'll see how he's training up the race, but clearly, you know, has every license to win the race as far as I'm concerned.
Well, let me add something about Honor Code really quick, because a lot of people have said that 3rd place finish in the prep in the Kelso wasn't much of a race, but that was the intent. Folks, you know, everything that trainer Shug McGay had said that was the intent, so don't lead anything into that. This, instead of a 7-furlong workout, just think he had a 7-furlong stakes race prep.
All right, well, let's talk about a couple of long shots in here, or horses that might not be as high odds, and one of those horses is Smooth Roller, who's just extremely lightly raced for trainer Victor Garcia.
Yeah.
The question is, can a horse like that come in here and compete at this level, or is he one of those ones you throw in the back with F&X, dare I say?
Well, he's got improving Equibase speed figures and very nice pattern of speed figures, 103, 109, 115. So he's the kind of horse that can peak in the fall, as Curlin did, as other horses have done, which you want on Breeders' Cup Classic Day, the same way you want on Kentucky Derby Day in the spring. And so certainly on that respect, he's good. But the question is, he really hasn't been in a fight yet.
Right, there you go. Well, what about, Tom, what about Glen Eagles? I know Ellis has a lot to say about Glen Eagles, but what do you think? I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid on this one.
Well, you know what? I would rather not comment about the horse. because
that's
he's
a good
well,
sign.
no. He's extremely talented, you know, but he was scheduled to race 4 times. He didn't race. He did race last weekend. You know, he needed a race before he comes here. I mean, you know, I don't think that he raced badly, and you know, I think they just wanted a race in him. Yeah, he's talented. How will he run on the dirt? We've seen it before, that these horses do come here and win or run exceptionally well. But you know what? I'm not so sure that the price will be that generous on the horse, really. What do you think?
I'll take 6 or 8 to 1. I think he's got a tremendous turn of foot. As a son of Galileo, you know, there's no doubt with a 1.25 miles. The question being dirt, which is what all the people will be looking at with all the riders checking it, that'll keep his odds higher. So I think to that respect, Glen Eagles has a good shot.
All right, of course, we are filming this on the Thursday, a full week before Breeders' Cup Preview Day, which kicks off here at Keeneland on the 29th. So you're going to need to keep posted at bloodhorse.com and on Twitter for any defections. But before we roll out, let's talk about one more horse in here just a little bit, and that would be Champion Beholder, who I believe it's no secret, huge fan, and objectivity may have gone out the window in this case. I do appreciate American Pharoah and obviously love Keen Ice, but super excited to see Beholder get a chance to run here. What do you guys think about, you know, the fever, missing a couple days training? What are your thoughts? Is this going to be an issue for her going into the race?
I just think as long as she's back on the beam, you know, galloping by Monday or Tuesday, I think we're fine. And actually, she'll probably be my top choice if the field stays as is come Breeders' Cup. Her and Glen Eagles will be my horses I'll be using as keys in my bets.
Tom, have you thought of any?
Trainer Richard Mandela said that he would not run her in the Classic if he didn't think she was 100%. So if she runs in the Classic, I would imagine that, yes, you would need to look at her very closely.
All right, well, she did go to the track this morning and she galloped once around, so that's a good sign from Beholder. He hasn't decided what day he's going to work her yet, but she will get one final work before the Breeders' Cup, and you can follow along at Blood Horse for all of that information. Ellis, you guys have an Equibase race of the week.
Yeah, this weekend we have the Twilight Derby at Santa Anita, a very good race, one of the last graded stakes for 3-year-olds only on the grass. And it's a great race. Check out the detailed analysis by me and free products at equibase.com for the Twilight Derby.
All right, and we will keep you guys covered for closing day at Keeneland, which is Saturday, and all the little races that are going on as we gear up for the Breeders' Cup. We always want to thank Equibase for sponsoring this show, and thank you for watching.